Any second now, any second now, we will be live. Any second, we will be live. If we're not live already. Okay, we are live. We are live. We're going to jump right into it. And it's been a beautiful morning for me, which some folks don't like you to say the word morning because it's like you're mourning a person who passed away or transitioned. Hey, I'm in mourning because I'm celebrating the fact that I'm a better person today. And the person yesterday, he's gone. We can look at it so many different kind of ways. You ever wonder? I'm going to give a second for folks to come in. You ever wonder, you get these guys, right? I don't know if you can remember In Living Color from back in the 90s, you know, how a lot of big stars today like Jennifer Lopez and Wayne Brothers and oh God, what's his name? He sings, he dances, he acts. Anyway, you know, they had this one character where it was like he was in jail, right? He was in prison, and that was the setting. And he was always trying to use big words and sound smart. And he was always like, yeah, the consecration to the masturbation to the nation, to the this, to the that. And it's like, come on, man, you're making yourselves look stupid. So you have these guys, I've run across these guys, especially recently, it's talking about, you know, you can't say, you know, during the week, you must say it's in the strong. Like, okay, we're playing with words and you're talking about words cast spells, especially the English language, but you're speaking the English language. You're speaking the English language. So you're playing around with words to do what? To impress somebody? You're trying to impress somebody. And these are the guys who can't even string two sentences together, even pay their bills. But they want to tell you. They sit there and get high and make up words and make up stuff. It's just crazy to me. You know, all these folks are jockeying to seem and appear intelligent, and they didn't pay attention to school. This don't bluff now. I hope everybody is having a good morning, a good rising, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we all call things the way we want to call it. We all live life the way we want to live it. And today's title: Relationship Deal Breakers. Relationship Deal Breakers. And wow, what will you tolerate? What won't you tolerate? Right? Some people say they won't tolerate certain things, but behind closed doors they do. Some people, I don't know, they're in another world. They tell you what they're all about, and they go about into the relationship, and they give you something completely different, bait and switch. That's a damn shame, you know. And they feel entitled to do so. You know, it's like I thought you were such a clean person, but they're nasty. I thought you were such a respectful person, but they're disrespectful. You know, I thought you were into the making love, but you didn't make love in 10 years. What the hell is going on? Then when you go out and get some, they get mad. Relationship deal breakers. What won't you tolerate? Let me tell you something. It's like in this life, you have to really be careful because a person can tell you something about themselves. And of course, it can end up being the polar opposite. The bottom line is that you have to be around this person for a while and you have to observe their habits, right? I mean, observe it carefully, see who they really are. Because oftentimes we tell a person who we are and we're something else. Like they say, we give our representative, we show our representative, but that's not really the case. And sometimes it is partially, but most often it's not. We always put our best foot forward. We always go out and try to look our best and act our best and be our most appealing. But what is it behind closed doors? You see? Ah, had a little broken sleep last night. I was up to a good hour, fell asleep. Mrs. Scurv had me do a few things, and I couldn't get to sleep right away. I couldn't get back to sleep. I hate that when I can't get full straight sleep. Now, why is Facebook telling me that I need to be ready to start the show? And it's 5 minutes after the hour. I don't understand that. Well, I remember years ago in Orlando, I did a video about relationship deal breakers. I went downtown and I videotaped people, women, men, speaking about what they will not tolerate. And these were younger folks. So what they stated was a little more on the surface, but there are things that are deeper when we speak about this issue. And you can tell a lot by meeting someone, as opposed to what they tell you about what they will and will not tolerate. Go, if they have parents that are alive, they have family alive, go hang out with that significant other or that potential significant other. If you're just friends at this point, and go hang out in their house. I mean, you can't push yourself up, but if they happen to be going there and they say, "Hey, come along and meet my parents," evidently you're important enough in their life for them to say that. And the parents are going to put the best foot forward. You understand? Because they don't want to embarrass their daughter or their son. But you have to observe certain things. You know, I remember years ago, I won't say what relationship it was because I've been in many relationships and I've been in many situationships and I've been in so many situation shits, right? The bottom line is that when you go and you observe parents and how they interact with the significant other or the potential significant others, um, brothers and sisters, you got to watch real careful. And what you see at first may not be what you see after the fifth or sixth trip over there or the 10th because they're going to get more relaxed. Just see how they move. I remember a family, it was one big red flag. The mother was there, and of course, the daughter, because I'm a man, it's going to be a woman. And they didn't embrace, they didn't hug and kiss. I mean, you're not going to do this every 5 minutes, but I mean, hey, hi. They said, hey and hi. That's your mother. That's your daughter. You're coming over. Aren't you glad? And when one of the brothers came over, hey, hey, hi. And the mother was, hey, what the hell? Emotional disconnect. And then when some of the nephews and nieces came around, they didn't even greet the grandmother or they didn't greet the other uncles or little small family impromptu gathering. Nobody greeted each other with any kind of pleasantry. Nobody greeted each other with any kind of enthusiasm. Now we know in the Latino community, if you're getting ready to go to the store and you're in the house and there's a whole bunch of family, they're all gonna hug and kiss you before you go to the corner store that might be 3 minutes away. And when you come back, they're gonna hug and kiss you. Hey, Papi, how you doing? I'm not saying you have to go like that, and that's a cultural thing. But you have some black people that just don't have an ounce of, I don't know, passion for their loved ones. So if you see this in a family, and this is the family that this potential significant other is growing up in, what do you think you're going to get? Even if you get the good treatment, the hugs, the kisses, whatever it may be, when you come home from work, or when you meet each other or whatever, chances are it's going to revert right back to what you see going on in that house. And they know better. That's why they fool you by doing better. And they go back to normal and relax. And this could be the indication of an emotionally disconnected relationship with you, even if you try a lot. It could mean a sexless marriage or relationship. You see? So these deal breakers that you know that you have, you all need to sit down and talk about it. Because too many times relationships transpire and certain things are never discussed. And I mean discussed down to the detail because it's easy getting in, but it's hard getting out. But it doesn't mean that you can't get out. Keto, greetings, greetings. Thanks for being here. Yes, hope you're having a wonderful day, morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the world. But yeah, and then you have people, and it doesn't just mean relationships as far as like, romantic or committed like that. Yes, emotional wellness. And you know what? That is that is so powerful, but that's one that you can hide so well. Many people can hide their scars so well. It doesn't mean that you can't deal with somebody who doesn't have scars. You understand? Because we all go through things. So that's something that as long as you acknowledge it and acknowledge that you need to heal, maybe you're healed up all the way and just have a scar. Maybe the scar is not healed, and if you touch that area, it hurts. And maybe it still can be an open wound. And if you have an open wound, that's no time to be looking to get into a relationship. It makes no sense. So we got to look at these things. We have to look at these factors, and we have to sit down and talk about it. That's the healthiest thing to do. But most people don't. And like in the past, I've mentioned this particular book. Don't know the title of it, but this was way back about 20 years we saw this book, and it was about marriage. And even if it wasn't marriage between you and the other person, and you're just in a committed relationship without the marriage, you still needed to read this book. And this book split every daggone hair. They went into different aspects of the relationship, what you're willing to do, what you don't like, what you like, and they gave scenarios. They gave scenarios, things that didn't even have to do with actual sex or embracing, or I mean, just things every day. I mean, look at it this way: you go to the bathroom, you forget to flush the toilet. Your significant other despises that, but you don't know that. But you made a mistake, and so she comes out screaming at you. You know, like what are you, a slob? What's wrong with you? And you didn't know. But then you didn't know this was one of her pet peeves, although you should always flush the toilet behind you. But sometimes you're done, you didn't flush it, the phone rings in the other room, and it's an important phone call you're waiting for, or you went into the restroom and you had something on the stove and you hear it boiling over. You know, you could, what do you do? Oh, okay, I'm going to take time and flush. Yeah, you might. But then again, you know, you might not. Things happen. So how does that person approach you? Do they call you names? Do they get personal that way to insult you because of a mistake that you made? See, these are things we got to talk about that are deal breakers. And in that situation, anybody can walk away and not flush a toilet, but it's about how you communicate with the person. Because when things happen, we got to hold our head and not get emotional because lots of times we compound the situation by communicating with our significant other the wrong way. And that's not good because it that would chip away. And the person being assaulted verbally may take it and take it and take it and take it, and then they might explode because they're not used to getting treated this way and they don't know how to handle it. Or they take it and take it and take it. And I'm a man, so I'm going to say it this way: that woman comes home and all she sees is two coat hangers swinging in the closet and all your possessions gone. Some people get down like that. Don't think it couldn't be you. Hey, I've lived a long life. In the situations I've been in, I've left coat hangers swinging. One good time happened to me, and I'm like, I'm out because you just don't know. You could see somebody in the street dressed so nicely, smelling so good, so intelligent, professional. I mean, a real go getter. And you get with them and you realize every morning when they get up to go to work that they never hung their clothes and folded their clothes or ironed their clothes after they washed them. What did they do? They took them and threw them on the ground in the bedroom in a big pile. Guess what? They didn't have a hamper. So all the dirty clothes ended up in the bedroom on the floor in a big pile next to the clean clothes. And over the next few days, the clean clothes got mixed in with the dirty clothes. And you have a professional person who, I mean, making good money, looking good, everything, but they have to, after getting out of the shower, grab out of the pile something they want to wear and sniff it to see if it's funky. I've seen this with my own eyes. That's a deal breaker because if you can't keep your clothes clean and separate, how is it that you're going to keep your coochie clean? No, they were clean that way, but there's certain things that are annoying, you know? Keto says, from my experience, there are only a handful of us who know how to communicate in a healthy way. Very few. You're right. Only a handful. And this toxic communication is one of the things that You can have something good, but this person just doesn't know how to speak to you. And you try to just say, hey, listen, why are you using this tone? Why are you speaking to me this way? That is so damaging. They speak to you sometime in a condescending way, in a way that like you're a child. And for me, you know, I couldn't tolerate that. I couldn't tolerate that. At the time, it's just like, I'm not gonna argue. See, I'm the kind of person where I just like, okay, cool, I'm out. I can't argue. I can't. I can argue a little bit or go back and forth and try to stress the point after explaining it to them. But once I see you're determined to just maintain that and you just refuse to try, I'm out. And there's more than one time I've done that. I'm not tolerating that. I'm not tolerating certain things. And with me personally, I come with instructions. I come with instructions. I come with an owner's manual, and it talks for itself and tells you. But you always have to sit down and have that talk because you have some people, and let's just, you know what? Let me get a sip of this water. When I start talking, my mouth will get dry. Hold on for a second while I sip this. Whew. I'm still getting used to the changing climate coming out here from the United States. Ah, double A vibes. How are you? True Kings in the house. In the chat room, if you can, as I speak on these things, and also to give equal time to people here who may have their own pet peeves. What are your relationship deal breakers? Because they fall into different categories. We can have the communication thing going on, the disrespect going on. We can have the nastiness going on. We can have the weaponized lack of sex. You know, there's all kind of things in relationships that we need to have. And we have to be happy with ourselves first, but we have to know what it is that we like and what we don't like, what we won't tolerate. And so many people are in relationships tolerating certain conditions that are literally killing them. And then you wonder why they stay. Sometimes you wonder why they stay and they're planning a grand exit. Tracy J, how are you? Great to see you. But that's the thing. What is it all about if you're going to be in something abrasive? You know, on lunch break, Lance, good to hear you. Hi, everyone. I feel you on the topic. We're in mad times. Yeah, we're in mad times across the board. I mean, the world is mad right now. We don't know what we're going to wake up to. The threat of war and all these countries trying to jump each other, the shaky economy, these man-made pandemics. Yes, I'll call it that. Our own personal things and our own personal lives with our families and with our friends and people dropping dead. And oh man, every day that you make it through, you better thank who you consider the creator or the higher power. You know what I mean? You have to. There's no other way. Every day is a gift. Before, you know, when you're young, you feel like you're going to live forever. You feel like all your friends are going to live forever. You feel like every situation that you're in is going to live forever. I miss my old neighborhood. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not living in the past, but these days, for me, I enjoy my days. And I'll say it this way, and I'm gonna contradict myself on purpose, and I know you'll understand. These are some of the best days of my life. These present days here are some of the best days of my life. Yet, I miss the 70s. I miss my old neighborhood. Well, if you're happy now, why are you missing? Because there's certain elements to that world that I don't have now. That forever feeling, that feeling of, I make up the word, foreverness. You didn't know anything better as a child. You come up a few years in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood's basically the same. You know, nobody died yet. You're young. You have no mortgage. You have no car payment. You have no kids to take care of. You love your children, but you have no kids to take care of because you're a child. And your world is limited, but yet your imagination is so vast. You're not worrying about, oh my God, my sex life is terrible. You're 8 years old. You know what I mean? You look at as a man, you look at girls and you don't look at them the same way as when the hormones hit. Sometimes they can be annoying, you know, at that young age, or just somebody else to play with, have fun with. But as you get older, things change. So yes, competition in a relationship, we should work as a team like competitors. Isn't that something? That is so true. I've been through that. I had an old girlfriend who, and this was back when I was a teen. I mean, I can say that it was an old girlfriend, but it wasn't open, but I wasn't super faithful. But she was like my main girlfriend, but there was no structure at that time where it has to be this or that. Nobody lied. She knew I knew a lot of people. She never asked, but she was the one I was with 85% of the time. And she had a really nice shape. I mean, she had an hourglass shape and a half flat stomach all the way around, nice back there, up top, face, everything. Personality nice, but she had some scars. And she was insecure. And not all the way, it didn't show. She looked very confident, but I knew she was insecure just from dealing with her. So one day, and I was into bodybuilding, I was into competition. You didn't have as many guys at my age at that time, 18, 19, in competition and looking good. So she was mad one day when a car full of girls, young ladies, honked the horn at me, the car horn at the red light, and they screamed out to my girlfriend. They said, "Do you want us to take them off your hands?" or something like that. And they were being like really mean to her. Like it was just a statement that they knew they were going to drive off and that was it. And they were laughing, playing music, you know, and they said some other things that let her know that they were interested in me, but it was only visual. So she got mad. She said to me, "Oh, you think you can get attention? I throw those tight jeans on I have, and we're gonna both walk up on the corner by the bus stop and see who gets more attention." It's like, what? Well, the next time we went out, the next day, she had these jeans on and she was like sarcastic with it. Like, how insecure? I didn't do this. And I wasn't out there half naked either. They just saw that I was nicely built. They didn't really see what I looked like. If they did, they would have went crazy. But she was always competitive. You know, it's crazy. Um, True King says, no desire to improve self. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That mentally, physically, spiritually, one of the biggest turn-ons for me is somebody who is always trying to improve themselves, is always on their game, not to impress the world, but for themselves, making themselves better. And when you have somebody who is in a rut, they know they're in a rut, but they're okay with that. That bothers me. It doesn't mean you have to be chasing down millions of dollars. It doesn't mean you have to be in the gym trying to get the perfect body, working out 3 and 4 and 5, 6 hours a day. No, you know, but just always seek to improve yourself. Read a book, learn something. That's exciting because now you have something more to bring to the conversation. We could talk about it. But there's some men like that though. Some men like that. Some women like it, but I think more men, and I'm not just saying a healthy minded brother, but there are a lot of control mongers out there who they just love the woman to be in the same spot and never to improve because it's like it's easier to control them. If they're coming around, it's just a sexual relationship and they add little things on to make it seem like it's not that way. He doesn't mind because he just wants that body to be there. They don't want you to improve. And on the flip side, you can tell these guys how they are when they're into the whole control thing because if you try to improve, guess what? They got a problem with it. If you try to improve, and this goes both ways with men and women now, but if you try to improve, they take it as a threat. You say you want to go to school now and learn something. Why do you want to learn that? I make enough money to take care of you. And some of them will take care of you, pay for everything. But They want to maintain control because in their mind, if I leave this situation, you're screwed. So I'm controlling this situation. You always have to bow down to me. That's not right. That's not right at all. And for some of you women who have control of men, try it out. Expand yourself. Seek to improve yourself. Even if he's quiet with it that way, you don't realize he's that kind of way, he'll show it. That attitude will rear its ugly head. You're right. Bad with money, bad credit. Yeah. And that goes both ways too. Um, Let me see something here. Did I miss something? Oh yeah, let me see what double A5 said. I totally understand you have a clarity from your past to your current time. Self-reflection is a real thing. I remember my mom told me people died as a child and I remember crying because I didn't get it. Wow. Wow. Yeah, but Tracy J said bad with money, bad credit, also deal breakers. These are things you got to get straight before you even look to get into something deeper. Have yourself the best version of yourself, and there's always going to be things you have to improve. So when I say the best for today, I hit several goals yesterday that I intended to reach. I felt good about that. I'm on course to hit other goals today that I intend to reach. Every day is one cinder block, one brick, one stone in the whole structure of your life. And while it may not be where you try to read a whole book in a day or, run 10 miles, whatever, you may take that day off and lay back, but it doesn't mean you don't still have the momentum to want to improve yourself. People get excited around me that I've known, hey, Lance, what are you drawing now? What are you writing about now? What are you talking about now? Tell me a funny story. I know funny stuff happens to you. There's always something. I keep the soil turned over. But there's more aspects than just being a wonderful personality or productive person on your end. You have to make sure that you live within your means. If you want to increase that, you better increase that money, make good investments, think about the future, secure yourself. Because men, I know women who say they make their own money, they don't need a man. I'm not talking about the modern woman that they say that just kind of seems like she hates men. But one who has it together doesn't mean that she hates the men. She's just doing her own thing. And it is a modern society. No, no, I have no problem with that. The ones with venom, I have a problem with. But even if they make more money than you, they still want to know that you're striving and you're consistent and you have your act together. If a woman can hold it down on her own, and this is interchangeable, then what do you want? Do you want a man who makes double six figures, like 200 something thousand a year, gambles, on drugs, womanizing, spending the money, losing it, spending it on foolish things? Do you want that? Or would you rather a man who may make, say, $80,000, excellent credit, pays his bill on time, has a moderate home? You understand? That will go further into the future. Some people are impressed with what they see in the moment and they don't see the long term, and some can see it. Yes, it's better if he makes more. And maybe he's setting up to make more. Maybe he's setting up little side businesses that may not make as much as his main one, but he wants to build it. I saw some opportunities and heard of some opportunities I'm going to jump into within the next week that, I mean, I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it, but it made sense. It made sense. It was the best thing I ever heard. I couldn't believe it. These dudes making thousands and thousands a day. I mean, but this was something that was very hidden and legal. And people hide things and people want to do the one man upmanship. This brother was telling me, he was like, man, I want to see everybody come on board and do this. And it's on you. I'm going to show you how to do it. And it's on you. It's like, wow. But you got to be motivated. You see? Yeah, bad with money. People like, hang on. And another Winddrawer says, or Windrow, I'm sorry. Um, she says the object on the horizon always showing up is the only love that's going to secure me. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. But see, the thing is, you know, sometimes things are not what they appear to be. And let me put this up. This thing is working so slow. Okay, let's see how that works. But yeah, day by day, sometimes we're with somebody and we think we know them. We think that there's nothing hidden and other things appear. So you also have to be prepared to stand on your own 2 feet in so many different ways because situations change and influences come around and will change things. Say emotionally. You think you're solid on an emotional level and there's something that happens in their life other than you, maybe a death or a family tragedy, or they got told off by their mother in a bad way, and now they come home different to you. It's so many different variables. So you both have to be in a state of mind where you're doing a gut check on yourself and to be considerate of the significant other. Because there's certain days I may have a day that is challenging. I don't say bad day because the whole day was not bad. But there's certain aspects of it that bother me. I would not bring that home. Mm-mm. You don't bring that home. You leave it where it is. And some people bring their issues home, and that's something I don't like. I don't like, but that Chief Keef song. Attitudes, that's something I don't like. Don't like. The stability, you know. But like it was mentioned, people that hang on, clingy people who you want them to cling to you in one respect, but they're so weak within themselves. See, when a strong person clings to you, it sort of gives you back a little bit of strength. And it's not clingy. They're doing their own thing, but they want you in their life. They hold you physically. They crave you mentally. They want to get in conversations with you. They cling to you in a good way, but not the ones that are smothering you out of insecurity. And yeah, that's a turn off. That's a turn off because they're supposed to be standing on their own 2 feet, and you have your own 2 feet. They can lean on you. You can hold them up for a while, but you just can't be so insecure that now and clingy, and you have to reassure them every 2 minutes. Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you. No, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. Yes, yes, yes. And then they get insecure when other people come around and they want to know every single detail. Those kind of people will run a person away from them and they'll be glad to be free of them. Like, oh God, this energy, nice person, but whew, I can't deal with it. Especially when like, they're driven by this insecurity that would just never go away. That's a deal breaker. You know, no attitudes. That's right. Straighten it out. Work it out in your head first. You don't need to bring me an attitude because it's something, you know, that you can't work out in your head in your life. Because we still are separate entities. We still have our own things we have to do. We still have our own homework. We could be classmates in the same classroom, same teacher sitting next to each other, but you still have to do your homework and I still have to do my homework. My homework doesn't count for you and yours doesn't count for me. We're still individuals and in relationships. Sometimes that can be a deal breaker that you didn't anticipate, that we move as one, but we're not one. I always speak about that in these love songs when they talk about, oh yes, two people moving, being together as one. Well, if you merge into one entity, when you break up, if you break up, hopefully you don't, but now you're 50% of a person and you lost another part of you because you had to get rid of some things to become 50%. You got 200%, two people who are supposed to be 100%, unless you're coming into that relationship at 75, at 60, at 25. You also have to look at that also. That in what capacity are you vibrating on? Are you vibrating at 13% of your potential? It doesn't mean you always have to be 100%, but have you done enough of your homework and maintenance and tuning yourself up and working on your idiosyncrasies that you're presenting to me a package that is shining bright as I should do for you? And if I'm not, I should be able to tell you what it is. Just like the used car salesman who tells you the transmission is leaking. There is a transmission leak, so that's something that you're going to have to fix. So, okay, you charge me $5,000 for this, and maybe I don't know what the price is of fixing a transmission or a new one. Let's just say it's going to cost me $1,000 to fix that transmission. Well, you're charging me $5,000. I need to pay $4,000. You have your ultimate price, and you take away from that. So let me know if you got any hangups. Let me know if you have things that bother you. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to stir up your hangups, but you need to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, how can I be in a healthy relationship with you? That's almost inconsiderate now because you haven't done your homework. And you're presenting to me a person who not only is not vibrating at their fullest, but they don't even give a damn about improving themselves because they would seek themselves from within and be honest with me. Some people know and they cross their fingers and hope you let it go by. Meet a beautiful woman. And for the women, you see, you meet a man. This is interchangeable. And everything is going well. And you find out that she's a functional addict. And you have a good amount of money and she's messing up your credit. Things are missing from the house. You got together with her. This is an emergency. Why didn't you tell me this is an issue with you? Maybe you can go meet another functional addict and you can sniff your cocaine or do whatever it is behind closed doors and ruin yourselves. But see, you have people sometimes, and these are deal breakers. There's nothing wrong with getting with somebody who is strong where you are weaker. I didn't say weak, I said weaker. Because hopefully you have the desire to amplify your strength and to get better leading or using their example, but not to lean on them for life. Some people see your strength and they know they're weak in that area and like, oh, I got a fool here. I'm going to just merge with this person. I'm going to give them what they want in the bedroom and act like I'm going to be the perfect person, but I don't have to worry about improving that part of my life anymore because they are strong where I'm weak. And when you find yourself away from that individual who's strong where you are weak, you'll find that you are weaker if you all break up. Ain't that something? So no matter who we are with, we're going to have to work on ourselves still together. You know? Yeah, double A vibes. And Tracy J tell them to go and heal and get therapy. It's the truth. But you know how we are as a people. I ain't crazy. I ain't need no therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with me. When you bring that mentality, I don't even have to know what it is about you that you need to work on. I don't even be bothered with you. And this, when I say relationship, it doesn't mean we know we're talking about relationships, right? But it can go into friendships. You know, relationships where you're on a job and have a limited work relationship, and their work ethic weighs on you. There was a guy that used to work at Home Depot with me about 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago. And this guy was so daggone lazy. Oh God, what was his name? I'm seeing his face. This guy, it was a crime. It was a sin for him to work. I knew he had to be with somebody who made him get a job because he did not want to work. You know, when you have the big carpets hanging, like what is it? Oh God, what's the size? 9 by 12? Smaller than that, but in Home Depot, Lowe's, the self-improvement stores, they're hung up whole and they're like posters on a poster rack and you can pull it back and look at it. This joker, when the rush came, pulled back the carpets and pulled them in front of him and stood there. And his customers going around. And it was so embarrassing, I guess, for him because there was a customer looking at carpets and pulled it back and he's standing there. It's hard work to try to avoid work. Why not just work? Right? It's hard work to avoid working on yourself. Why don't you just work on yourself? Because at the end of the day, you'll be better and you'll be improved over what you were the day before. That's the way I look at it. Let me take a sip of this water, y'all. Taking a sip. Oh, God, that's so good. Ah, you're right. Double A vibes. We're too proud at times to see our errors at times. You know, Annette, folks don't like nobody being too proud or too free. You're right about that, you know, because there's so many people based on insecurities. There's so many people based on the fact that they're looking at what others are doing. I gave that up a long time ago, and I really can't say I was really into that type of mentality. But you know, when you're a preteen or a teen and you're looking sideways and you see what other people are doing, and you know, you gauge yourself. But after a while, man, you got to stop that because there's some people that I've known. I won't mention any names or situations in detail, but they were condescending. They were on top. Their nose were in the air, their chest pushed up and butt on their shoulders. And in their mind, their farts smelled like perfume and cologne. And to just even speak with them, even if they knew you and you were friendly, they had to do that condescending, looking down at you vibe, you know, and it was just terrible. And there were two of them like that. One was worse than the others, the two brothers. But right now, it's unfortunate. They were on the subway train in New York, living homeless out in the street, health problems. It took a tumble. And it was all because of that pride and how proud they are and, you know, looking down at people and everything like that. And now they lost everything. It's just the way it worked out. But their pride is what did it. Circumstances happened because of their pride. I'll say it that much. It wasn't like a tragedy that this person is a nice person, this person has it together. No, they would have never fell so far if it wasn't for their pride. Refusal to do things that needed to be done to maintain them at that time, at that particular storm. You see what I mean? You can't have that kind of pride because that'll mess things up. And they never, ever really had any kind of relationship with a woman that was healthy, that was lengthy. They were just on paper, literally, they were perfect. But they had so many hangups and the attitudes. There's no woman that really stayed around them longer than a couple of days for it to even take. You see what I mean? So we got to work on ourselves. You know, yeah. Love doesn't mean leaning, and kisses shouldn't mean contracts. Those are things that's like the icing on the cake. You know, um, but yeah, love is a word that is so prostituted in the English language. Love, ain't that something? That's a multi-purpose, wide range word with lots of usage, and it's a word that I wish could be limited in its use. I'm not going to say taken away, but so many people use it as a battering ram to get into your life just by saying it, and they don't really have any clue about it. It's a free pass. You see what I mean? You know, and I'm not demonizing women, but I don't deal with dudes like this. I know we're living in a different world, right? So, and this goes for the men also. This is interchangeable. Like I say, I keep saying this because I get the emails and comments and stuff like that that they just totally overlook what I said. I had a YouTube short video up, put it up a couple weeks ago. I've been doing a lot of those, right? And what I said in the video had nothing to do with what this guy said in the comment section. Nothing to do with it. Like he was commenting on a whole different video. So this is why communication is so important and to really pinpoint what it is. Because you can have two people saying, I love you, but they're just like codependent. They don't love each other. They're using each other. It's not even that they need each other. They're using each other and saying the word love. But it's conditional. Because when those conditions are not met, guess who gets in the wind? You see? So I just don't understand. I love you. Yeah, you have no place to live. You love me. You need a place to live, and you see this big house I got. Okay, right? Out of nowhere. Oh, I love you so much because every weekend I take you shopping. You don't have to spend your money, and I still give you money. I'm just making up scenarios, you know? Oh, but you love me, right? I have a nice luxury car that people see that I drive. We're not together, but we spend one night hanging out, and you admit that you have this great love for me because I have this car, which is indicative of other money. We're so damn superficial. Love doesn't die. I mean, romantic love, this light-hearted thing, that can move on, but true love, like when a mother loves her child, which can also be destructive because a mother can love her child so much to the point where that child destroys the mother, and the mother still loves the child and has the real love, but the child prostitutes that word against them to get what they want when they get older. That's not love. It's one-sided, but that's not true love. That's an arrangement. My mother passed away and had a stroke in 1994 in April, brain dead after a couple days on the machine. A year before that, well, less than a year, in the year before, in 93, July, she had her first stroke. And what was bothering her is my brother was always on drugs. Brilliant, college educated, smart guy. You would never know that he's on drugs. He keeps himself up. I try to keep myself up, and I'm more sloppy than he is. He's so meticulous. So she always felt that there was hope, even though he may have been in and out of prison and drugs and arrested, locked up here and there. There was always a thing about him, even me seeing him growing up, that there was this ray of hope, even though he thought he had me fooled. I was younger, but I knew, but he didn't really live with us because my father wouldn't go for that. My father was his stepfather. He tried to reach out to him, but, you know, my father showed more love to my brother than his father did, than my brother's father did, in tolerating and trying to counsel him and trying to, lead him the right way, even giving him work because my father had his own business. But my brother claimed to love my mother so much, but it was only when he was coming around looking for money so he can go out and get drugs. But she had an unconditional love for him and hope. This is what happens when you love on two different frequencies. And from him, it wasn't love, it was need. It was need. Because lots of times we talk about, oh, I love you. No, it could be. It's more that I need you. Not that I love you, I need you. And I'm not shitting on love. Love is a good thing when it's mutual, but there's certain things that have to be there in place. Are you in the process of loving me? Don't just say it and don't show me nothing. Show me something. If you say you love your car, and it's not going to be dirty, junk all in the back seat, not tuned up, tires all bald, you're going to be in the process of loving that car. And you don't even have to say it. You take care of it. Not that you're fanatical, but it's always clean. The tires are armor all. It's always tuned up, oil change on time, inside nice and clean. You don't have to say it. The next person will come out and say, man, you love that car. You surely love your car. The husband that loves the wife. He doesn't have to keep saying it at the family gatherings, at the parties. I love my wife. I love my wife. Those are the ones you watch because behind closed doors, usually they might be beating their wife, cheating on their wife, bringing them home diseases, making babies on them, not wanting to work. But at the party or at the get, I love my wife. And the people who know what's going on the inside know that he's a damn liar and don't even know what love is. Ain't there something? Exactly, double A vibes. Yeah. Yes, you're right, Tracy J. People say I love you in its casual conversations. For real. Double A says you can have two people who say they love each other, but the motives outweigh the real love that's not there if it's not there. Tracy J says anybody will love you when you have something they want. Of course. Of course. How many men have seen that perfectly proportioned woman? So sexy and beautiful. First thing out of his mouth, baby, I love you. Get out of here. Bessie say, I want to have sex with you. I love your body. Say that. Maybe that's what she wants to give too. Maybe she's too busy. Maybe she's a career woman and wants a man that will be faithful in that physical way, that will relieve her that way. And you talking about love or you just wanting sex, you might turn her off and miss the very thing you're going to get. Be real, y'all. Not everybody just sitting here wanting to be in a relationship. Some people just don't want to have to deal with that battery operated boyfriend. That's real. We should have more real conversation. We'll get along better. You know, two halves when they join, you do make a whole, but two holes when they join, that's the beauty. Exactly. When the two holes get together. Come on now, yo, listen. I didn't say holes, I said holes. Just like Anetta said, it's a synergistic effect. It's two full people. You can move mountains then. You know? Yeah, Indigo King, I hate hearing that after a week or days. I think, I love you. Yes, yes. You don't even know me. You know what I mean? You know, just say I like what I've seen so far. You know, just be real. We fluff it up too much. And sometimes we're the very ones running after fluffing it up. You done told the person you love them, you want to be with them forever and all this stuff. How long is forever, y'all? How long is really forever? How long? I had this pic. I think I drew. Yeah, I did a sketch. I can't find it. I have a lot of drawings that I finished that I uploaded, and some of them years ago I just lost them. Our computers crashed, but I want to draw it again. I want to draw a picture of this attractive older woman who might be like 60 something years old in a bar, and a dude maybe a couple years older than her approaching her, talking about, yeah, I want to love you forever. I will love you forever. And she turns around and says, you know what? If I can get 8 years out of your old ass, I'll be a happy woman. Stop overstating. You know what I mean? We have plans in our day. We have plans for the week, or for the year, and then we turn around and we're gone out of here. Focus on the day. Focus on what is there. Be real about what you have in the tank. Don't tell me you can make the trip and you say your tank is full, but you got 1/8 of a tank of gas in your vehicle out of pride when I offered you gas. Now we get on the road and you run out of gas. Why didn't you tell me? You know what's inside of you. You know how you feel. Be real. But even before we get to the things that are the actual deal breakers, we gotta make it where we're bringing something to the deal. We are a good deal. We're a good catch. Even at 85 or 90%, if you can point out what you're working on, you can leave it up to the person to see if they want to deal with that. Because there may be nothing at all. It may be a car you're selling. Let's go back to that. And you say to this person, man, this thing needs an engine overhaul. And I was going to charge $12,000 for this, but I'm going to knock off seven. And you're glad because you know what? You're a mechanic and you can do the engine overhaul yourself. You didn't tell them that. So in actuality, you're saving even more money because you don't have to pay the next person to do it. But therapy, healing, are you bringing yourself to a relationship and you have not healed yet from the other one? Are you afraid of being alone? We are never alone. We might feel lonely sometimes, but we're never alone. But these things in our head drive us to another relationship and push ourselves up under somebody who, when they see your voice like that and how desperate you are, it's a turnoff. It's a turnoff. And you ask yourself, what kind of life did this person live before? Where they could just up and just uproot and just, I love you, I love you. There's something wrong there. You know, maybe you didn't finish your therapy. Maybe you're still on medication. Your past is a big mystery and vague. Show me, prove to me. And this works both ways with men and women because in this day and age, there's so many frauds trying to pass themselves off as perfect situations. Don't come to me that way. And everybody knows I'm married, so I'm speaking theoretical, speaking as though I'm still a single man, but don't come at me that way. Because I know your ass ain't perfect. Huh? I ain't perfect. But tell me where the issues are. Tell me where you need work on. None of us, and I'm going to say it, I can say, be nice and say transition. I'm just going to say it. None of us dies perfect. I don't care if we gave you 1,000 years to work on yourself. There's going to be something that still needs work on because we have forces and things that we have to deal with in this world that take chunks out of us sometime, stress us sometime. So there's no way you're going to be perfect. It don't work that way. Now, when lust kicks in and you see this person and you're like, whoa, they look damn good. You may think they're perfect, but they're not. And this is how lust will get us. Desire of the eyes, lust. We fill in the blanks because we want it to be this perfect situation, even when you see the red flags. That's the thing. You know? Wow. Okay. Okay, you all don't see this. This is on Twitch. Because we're broadcasting on Facebook, 2 pages, YouTube 1 page, Twitch, and Twitter. I hate when they come in. I won't even erase it because nobody watches me on Twitch. I just broadcast it just to have another place to broadcast just in case YouTube takes things down. You can go on over there and download the stuff that you put up. That that's that white boy channel, gaming channel. We can go over there too, but I'm just saying, I try to spread things out here. So if you get me one way, you won't get me the other way. But deal breakers, even before we engage in that conversation, how are we going to fit together? When you look at a puzzle on a table or on your coffee table, you don't go shoving pieces into the next piece because you're going to damage that piece. You have to look at the color and the shading. You see the whole picture of what that puzzle is going to look like. When you put those pieces out there, you better check them pieces out before you put them in position. We take more time checking out the pieces of a puzzle before we put it in its potential position than we do with each other. I mean, why don't we take time? I say, at least, why don't we take 1 year? We're all older now than we used to be. Maybe if you're in your early 20s listening to this, you don't feel the passage of time yet. But when you get in something and it's 2 and 4, 5 years, 8, 9, 10 years, and things really start to mess up, hopefully not, 1 year doesn't seem like too long. And even when you're older, 1 year can go by so fast, you might miss something. I'm not going to say take 2 years, but why are you trying to marry this person after 2 weeks? What are you hiding? What are you desperate about? If it's going to be there, it's going to be there. You're not even looking for the deal breakers. You know, for me, I'm going to tell you a man trick that I've always used. I've never mentioned this before. I've never said this to anybody before. It deals with women, of course. I look for something wrong in the past to keep me from falling into that trap of, oh, this person's perfect. You know why? Because, and again, I'm not demonizing women. That is who I deal with. I can't talk about men. This ain't the LGBTQ element of P, whatever channel it is. This ain't it. I'm sorry. And again, what I say pertains to women also, right? So it's meaning that I'm a man talking about women, women talking about man. Boom. Don't come in the comment section. I'm gonna blow you up. I'm gonna screenshot you, put you out there. I said that enough. But I would always, as a young, really as a younger man, because I'm not into that as I got older, but to keep from being blown away head over heels, and it was more carnal then. I find something wrong with the woman. To keep me in reality, an anchor. It might have been a physical flaw, might have been some mental or personality thing, something annoying about him that gave me an escape hatch when they got annoying or whatever. But I would put that to the side and not look at that and give them a fair shot because I knew also that nobody's perfect. So after a couple of days, they started getting on my nerves from around them, thinking that wow, I can really be around this person, and they start nagging me. Then I might kick into to defensive mode and dig out the box the thing that I saw that wasn't too perfect. I mean, I know it's immature maybe, but this is me in my 20s. Well, that's why you got morning breath and that big behind forehead. It'll make it easy. I'm out of here. You ain't perfect. Why you trying to come off to me like you're perfect? You know what I mean? Something, you know, that got me through. That's not really the way to do it because, like I said, ain't nobody perfect. I got a big head too. And I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about I got a physically big head. You know what I mean? And the time I was driving the bus, little kid got on. Mommy, mommy, how come the bus driver's wearing a helmet, but it don't have those things in front of the face to protect the mouth? Say, shut up, Javi. That's not a helmet. That's his head. So I had to get a big body to make up for the heads. No, my head wasn't big when I was a kid. I don't know. It just got like that. Let me sip, y'all. I know dudes that drink more alcohol than I drink water, killing their liver off like that. It's crazy, you know? Yes, 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 Anetta. They in love now with who get the biggest tax return. Yeah, yeah. Is it love? You know, is it really love? No. You know, then we Clark Gable going with the wind. Stupid is romantic. Love is mental illness. Yeah, it could. You know, they. So many of us look for that because we're addicted to that. Because it's been proven that this feeling of this love and whatever, it's it hits one part of the brain so hard, almost like crack. And when does it wear off? True love, to me, is a practical love, is a useful love, is an intelligent love. Just like you love the car and you maintain it, you love your woman, you want to maintain her, you want to take care of her. You don't want to control her because that's not love. So you can do things with her and take care, but you still want to encourage her to get better. Sweetheart, if something happens to me, I want you to be able to take care of yourself. Not like, well, you in trouble if I ain't around. You know, that's a power trip. You know what I mean? But yeah, that money. We've become emotional whores. You know you don't love that woman, but she got money in a nice place and no man. And it might be more that you love what she has more than her, or interested in building with her. That's why we got to protect ourselves. Because some people come around that's so obvious we don't even realize it. And lots of times we can find ourselves in a very vulnerable situation where we're lonely. We may have taken the loss or death of a loved one, of a parent, a grandparent, a child. And we appear strong to the outside world, but somebody comes around and can detect this even if they don't know it exactly. And they will feed off of you, suck from you, and realize they hit the maggot, leech, parasite jackpot. Say, for example, you don't have a very big family, immediate, brothers, sisters, children, parents, whatever. You might have some cousins or something far away, whatever. There's some people who see, oh, I can control this person. They're all alone. I can manipulate them. I can make them fit into my world the way I want them to fit because they don't have anything that's keeping them from being perfect for me to be pliable to fit them where I want to fit them to fill my voids. You can be very selfish sometimes. Like a chess match, it's about what you do for them. It's not mutually beneficial, mutually respectful. It's like a junkyard. You're looking for a part. You're looking for one special part for your vehicle. You don't care about that old beat up vehicle that you're taking the part from. You're not going to say, let me refurbish this vehicle. No, I'm taking from this to make mine better. And a lot of times in these relationships we get into, we don't realize we've been played. That's the ultimate deal breaker. You coming over here trying to play me. You know something? We're shopping around for something that's going to be ready-made to fit our situation. Of course, you're going to have certain desire certain attributes in a person. That's fair. That's healthy. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to, oh, there has to be this height, this weight, this. No, but the integrity, the attributes, what happened to that? A lot of our sisters sometimes, girl, he just got out of prison, boy. Ooh, that dick was good. I think I love him. Because you didn't have none in a long time. And it felt real good. But then after a couple of weeks, it wears off. Because now you got this dude living up in your house. And you got used to what he got, but now you're thinking otherwise, like, wait a second, money's kind of tough out here these days. So a lot of times we are hungry for something. We get it and feel like we're on top of the world, but now we've been satisfied in that one slice of life, not knowing there's other things we have to do. So this is why it's about the attributes of that person. Things in general, not just reactionary. You were horny and you wanted something deep inside of you. Now you feel so good laying back, but you forgot the other parts. You don't pay one bill and don't pay the next. Well, I'm going to take this paycheck and I'm going to pay the next 3 mortgages. But you don't have to eat. You don't need light. You don't need gas in your car. You better budget yourself. You better compartmentalize certain things so you don't get overrun when somebody comes and sweet talks you. Sweets talk. Oh God, I'm getting erotic. Right? That's true, Anetta. Would you date yourself? That is so true. And we're not saying a projection of the same sex, but just the attributes in the opposite sex. That's a heck of a question. We should make that tomorrow's show. Would you date yourself? Wow. That's time for reflection. Now, if there was, provided I'm single and everything, if there was a female version of me, I would. I would. I would. I like me. I'm not sitting here looking in the mirror at myself, masturbating. Ooh, I wish you could come to the mirror. No, that's still some homo action. But with the attributes because for me personally, I'm very much in life overall underappreciated. The attributes that I have that most just never appreciated. That would have been nice to have been appreciated in different relationships I've been throughout this life. I've been taken for granted a lot. I don't have a chip on my shoulder, but I was always a lot deeper than they knew. And I take the blame for that because I never presented a lot of that. I just gave them the surface of what they wanted, but how could I expect them to dig deeper? And there have been people I've been in close situationships with from the past that may have contacted me in the last few years since I'm doing this. It's no disrespect to your wife, whatever, but boy, if I knew that you were this way, but I never knew, but you never displayed it to me, I would have snatched you up in a second. I'm like, but you treat me like some Victoria's Secret underwear on sale? You snatch me up? Do I have a say so in this? Like, just snatch me up and I'm okay with that. I don't have anything that I need or anything that I desire. Just snatch me up. And some people allow themselves that and get frustrated when that other person doesn't understand that they have deeper attributes to offer. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's not good that you on the microphone, but I had to. That broken sleep will mess you up for the whole day. I'm telling you for sure. For sure. As they say it in the South, for sure. I'm trying to see the new comments here, but this thing is stuck. This is stuck. Oh well. I'll give it a second. But yeah, that's an interesting thought, and I'm gonna wrap it down soon. There's a couple of things that are doing. Of course, I'm pumping up the content. Y'all see it now. We're putting the content out there. And I wanted to go live again last night. But what happened? I had to make a run out, and I had to work on the things with Sister Seven, and she'll be posting things on a regular basis. So I appreciate that. And Kimberly Cross Country wanted to do something, but I was so not overwhelmed, but so focused on I could have hit that button and we would have gone live, but I overlooked a couple of things. Because look, I got several email addresses, a crap load of social media platforms that some know and some don't know. I got some stuff that people don't even know about. I got to communicate on that and everything. So when in doubt on how to reach me, you can always reach me at Lance@LanceScurv.com. That's the one that I always check, you know? Okay, I'm seeing some of these new comments now. Okay. Miss Peace, how are you? Okay. Oh yeah, keto. I actually do date myself in real life. Yes. It took 50 years to get to this point, and I'm enjoying my own space, my own company. Exactly, Tracy said. At least you don't have to worry about drama and being cheated on. But I know a lot of people who get to this point, and I understand why. Um, I'm not even going to say anything is wrong with that because a lot of us have gone through so much. It's like, listen, I just want to be by myself. Maybe I have a friend that I go out with or whatever, and we laugh and talk and keep it light. I know many people like that. Many people like that. Um, and that's usually the healthier alternative. At least you're not saying that you're against men or women or whatever. When you get to that point, there's something wrong. But yeah, to not have to deal with the foolishness because when you get older, you have so much more to lose, so much more to lose, and you understand how precious your time is. You really understand how precious your time is, and who wants to waste time? I know I don't want to waste time, you know. And you get to a certain age, you have so many people who have scars that they don't want to be bothered with dealing with. They don't want to go to therapy. They don't want to live away in a way of healing. Stay away from them. I don't blame you because you invite me over your house to visit, but you never took out the garbage for 2 years. It's stinking in there. You expect me to take out your garbage? That's how we need to see it because life is moving so fast and people are out of here so fast. Isn't that something? They're out of here so fast. And the bottom line is that we don't know how long we have left. And it's not to be gory, but slow down and enjoy the process. Slow down and enjoy the journey. Slow down and fix it for yourself. If you can't fix the next person, which you shouldn't be looking to do, fix yourself. And you'll receive life and the world around you in a better way that is so satisfying that lots of times you'll find that just a companion to walk by your side is enough. And if they get out of line or they don't want to deal with themselves, no biggie. I didn't lose much. Listen, I'm going to sound off, sign off, and I do want to come back later. These are so easy to do. The other stuff is so much more of a challenge, but it's been good. It's been wonderful. And just like, share, and subscribe. I do want to talk about the real stuff. I don't want to talk about the superficial foolishness out here, who's screwing who. If I do talk about a so called celebrity, it's only because I have a point to prove behind it or some angle that I find. See? So, anyway, much love to you all. I'm signing off. I'm on the phone, so I'm not going to play with the music now. They can't cut it off and something goes wrong. But we'll be back later on. I have a whole lot more to create starting from now. I want to thank you for your time and your input. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Much love. Much, much love.